With the rise of social media, content creator houses have basically become a genre of their own. We had Team 10 back in 2016, which was led by Jake Paul, the guy who sang "It's Everyday Bro" with that Disney Channel flow. Yeah, I know you know that song. Then we had the Hype House in 2019, which featured the biggest TikTok stars of that era. We had Charlie D'Amelio, Addison Rae, and all the other ones, but I cannot remember their names right now. And now, in true Gen Z fashion, we've evolved into more niche spaces like the Glow House, which was literally launched in April of this year. But the content creator house that has been making a lot of noise recently, and not for any good reason, is the Bop House, which we are going to be talking about in today's video. But here's the thing, the Bop House is not your average content creator house. There's no YouTube pranks, no boy drama, no one's beefing about who didn't wash the dishes or did the laundry. None of that. People have called this house the modern day Playboy mansion, rebranded for TikTok and run by OnlyFans creators. It basically just features 7 young women living under one roof, raking in millions of dollars every single month, building a brand around hyper femininity, baddie aesthetics, viral thirst traps, and also seeing how far they can go. And now Piper Rockelle, and yes, the same Piper Rockelle, who is YouTube famous and has millions of young fans, now she is suddenly being seen in content with the Bop House, and people are raising their eyebrows and asking questions. And honestly, they have every right to. Because if you have been paying attention, it looks like there's a strategic buildup happening right now. One thing I'll say about the Bop House is that they know how to market. They know how to get people's attention. And with Piper being in that environment, it is sparking a lot of backlash, and people are concerned, especially with the kind of content that the Bop House makes, the platforms that they post on, and the money that's clearly involved. So in this video, we're going to unpack what the Bop House is, the controversy surrounding them, and Piper Rockelle's involvement, and just the craziness of it all. And when I was looking into this topic, I just had one question that popped into my mind, and I'm hoping you can answer this by the end of today's video. What does this say about us and the world we live in? When the line between childhood fame and adult content becomes this blurry and no one seems to be stopping it. Let's get into it. Yeah. I have another channel called NK & Co where I post the behind the scenes of these videos and just my life as a content creator while trying not to crash out. So if you are interested in that type of content, feel free to check me out there. So let's keep going with this video. Part 1. What is the Bop House? It's only right that I start this video with a thorough explanation of what the Bop House is, what do they do, how they make their money, and just why they're so popular. I am going to refer to the platform OnlyFans as OF. I actually have a full video breaking down what this platform is, so make sure you check that out first so you can get the full picture. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into what the Bop House is. So the Bop House is a content creator collective founded in December 2024 by Sophie Rain and Aisha Sophie. Sophie is 20 years old and Aisha is 22. So this home, which is absolutely huge, I think it has like 6 bedrooms, I'm pretty sure, but it's huge. Anyways, it's located in Florida and it was home to 8 of the women, but now 7, which I'll talk about in a second. And all of the women in the house primarily earn their income through the adult-based subscription platform OF. While content creator houses have existed for years, as I mentioned earlier, there is Team 10, the Hype House, there's also the Sway House, there's way more that I don't even know, but there's a lot of them. Like they pop up every 2.5 seconds. But despite all of these random creator houses popping up, the Bop House is definitely the most controversial out of all of them because all of the members are sex workers or adult entertainers, whatever you want to call it, who cross-promote each other's work to maximize visibility and income, which is the general goal of most content houses. They're just meant to cross-collaborate, create some hype, get people invested in their content, and just increase their visibility and their income. I would say the biggest goal is to increase their income, but some people are just obsessed with fame and they don't really care about the money. But the Bop House, I'ma say, they about their bag, period. So the members of this house consist of Aisha, Alina, Camilla, Julia, Summer, Ava, and of course Sophie Rain, with the age range being between 19 to 24 years old. Despite being launched in December 2024, which is like roughly 4 months ago-ish, I'm not the best at math, but I'm pretty sure it's 4 months, yeah. Huh? Yes. So despite being launched for a while now, even though 4 months to me is not a long time, in terms of the social media space, 4 months is a long time. And people have mentioned that they only have 3.4 million followers. And obviously 3.4 million followers is a lot of followers, a lot. But people bring this up because all of the ladies individually, they have quite a bit of followers. So people assume that when these ladies came together to combine all their followings, that the Bop House would have even more followers. For example, Camilla has 9 million followers, Alina has 5.7 million, Aisha has 6.5 million, and Sophie Rain, the most popular member out of all of them, she has almost 12 million followers, or she may have more by the time I post this video. So this discrepancy has led to some people questioning whether the Bop House is as influential or culturally impactful as the hype around it suggests. Maybe some people don't feel the need to follow the Bop House just because they already follow these ladies individually, or they just don't want to get caught on that page. That could also be it. But to me, the followers don't even matter because it's the views, it's the engagement, how many people are coming back to watch their videos. And if you look at their page, you see that a lot of people are coming back to watch their videos. They have tens of millions of views. So despite them having a low follower count, they're still doing well. And to me, that's a better way to see how relevant someone is and how dedicated their fan base is. As I mentioned earlier, the Bop House originally had 8 members, but now they're down to 7. And this is because Joy May has left the group. She left the group because of the controversy that we're going to talk about in today's video. So on February 26, 2025, Joy posted a video on her YouTube page talking about why she left the Bop House. And it was quite messy. You could tell she was very mad. She was ready to fight. But honestly, let me just explain. She said that she didn't feel heard or respected in the house. According to her, the other girls were not listening to her concerns or giving her the privacy that she needed. But the biggest concern, it was Piper. Joy was really uncomfortable with Piper being around the house, being in videos, and just the Bop House in general making content with her because of course she is underage. But the rest of the group did not seem to have a problem with it. They were gladly making TikToks. It was mostly Aisha and Sophie who were making TikToks with Piper, but the other ladies did as well. But to be honest, if you did not know anything about the Bop House or Piper, you wouldn't even bat an eye when looking at the videos of them together because they blend in. Like Piper fits in, like the aesthetic of the Bop House, she fits into it perfectly. And it's definitely concerning because it shows you that the Bop House is definitely pushing a certain aesthetic, and that aesthetic is very profitable, but also it's like, I know all of the ladies in the Bop House are of legal age, but it still makes you kind of side eye the whole thing when you look at them and realize that they look like very young. And after all those TikToks were posted, Joy had enough. That was her final straw, so she decided to leave. And the girls tried to post apology videos, but they did seem very fake on TikTok, and it was just really weird. And at first, honestly, I thought it was staged. I thought it was fake because these ladies, like, they know how to market. I was stalking their page very intently, and just the little things they do that you wouldn't even think twice about. Like, they do it because they know it's gonna get them views, attention, money, clout, all that. Like, they are very good at marketing. There were even 2 videos of Joy throwing a book and throwing a Starbucks drink at Aisha when Aisha was trying to apologize for what happened with Piper. Apparently, Aisha secretly recorded these interactions and posted it to TikTok without Joy's consent, which made Joy look really bad, and then that obviously sparked a lot of backlash and people were just talking about it. And that's why personally I felt it was fake. I was like, I feel like this whole situation is just giving fake. Like, girl, how did you record it and then Joy didn't see? Then why did you record it? Then why did you post it? Like, it was just giving fake. But now I don't know if it's fake just because Joy has launched another content creator house in retaliation of the Bop House. And this house is called Asian House. Yeah. And I swear, at the rate that we're going with social media, we're gonna have like 10,000 different content creator houses every month. Every single month there's gonna be new ones. Maybe I should make my own house at this point, because it seems like everyone has a house now. What should we call it? The chronically online house, the introvert, girl, I don't know. I would never live with a bunch of grown adults that I don't know or barely know. That sounds like torture. Just imagine creating content 24/7 with a bunch of people who, like, you're low-key also competing with because y'all trying to get to the bag. Like, Nah, that sounds like stress, that sounds like a lot, and that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Which it has proven to be, because how many of these content creator houses have failed? Like maybe they've lasted max a year, but for the most part, all of them end up falling apart within a couple of months. Anyways, back to the point. So Joy's Asian house seems to be doing all right, though it's definitely not as big or as viral as the Bop House. It's still there. And maybe over time they're gonna get bigger, I don't know. But they're definitely throwing a lot of shade at the Bop House for sure. But since we are starting to have so many different content creator houses, I wanted to ask y'all a question on Instagram. And it's funny because when I asked this question, some of y'all thought I was actually trying to join a content creator house. And I'm like, no, baby, I was not trying to do that. No. So on Instagram, I like to ask you guys a couple of questions to get you involved in my videos. You can check me out on Instagram, NK's World with 2 D's. I'm not gonna finish the joke because I always say that, so let me keep it PG today. Anyways, let me just read the question. Do you think content creator houses are the future of content creation? Only 4% of you guys said that yes, it's the next big thing, which tells me everything I need to know about your opinions on content creator houses. Then 67% said that no, it's just a trend, which I can also see as well, because as I said, these content creator houses, they do not be lasting a long time. They keep rotating their members, or eventually they end up just, what's the word, demolishing? Or just breaking apart or ending it, because it just never ends well. If you guys are truly a group of friends, maybe it will work out, but for the most part, these people are not friends. They're just trying to get money. They're just using people to get more famous. They're staging their relationships, their friendships, drama, everything. Like, it's just so staged and manufactured that of course it's gonna fall apart eventually. Duh. Then 22% said that maybe if they evolve. And I honestly feel like content creator houses are not going anywhere anytime soon. They're gonna keep on popping up every 2.5 seconds. I just feel like as the years go by, we're gonna see more and more content creator houses, but they're gonna push the boundaries of what a content creator house is. But they're just gonna push more boundaries, maybe be more obnoxious, and just do more to get people's attention, because some of y'all are addicted to clout. It's a drug at this point. They should study that, how clout is a drug. Then I wanted to read some of y'all's comment because you swiped up to my story. So Emmeline said, when they're made, they only stick around for a little bit before drama takes over and ruins everyone's relationship with one another. I think people believe the concept is fun, but it's never been executed well. And that is true, because literally all of these houses have ended with drama. Even the Bop House, they haven't ended yet, but even with Joy leaving, it was such a big thing. It was just a drama. And I do wonder if it can ever be executed well. I honestly don't know, because if you're just mixing young people who want to be famous, Instagram famous, TikTok famous, and have a lot of money together, I do think it's a recipe for disaster, because everyone is looking out for themselves. They don't care about other people. They just care about getting views, clicks, likes, money, brand deals. So because that is the main goal of these content creator houses, I feel like they're never going to work. I even remember when I was trying to be like a fashion girly, a fashion influencer, or like a makeup influencer girl, I was part of this group chat, which was on Instagram, and it was meant to just basically, like, whenever you posted a photo, all of the girls would like the photo, like hype you up, just give you engagement to help you further your reach to other people. And just being in that group chat, it felt very fake, very manufactured, very forced. Like, the energy was not reciprocated. Like, you would comment on people's stuff, you would hype them up, share their post, post it on your story, but then when it was your turn to post, you are not getting the same love. So I noticed that very quickly. It was definitely fake. So imagine that in real life. People don't care about you. They literally don't care. They just care about getting ahead, especially when it comes to content creation. Of course, not everyone's like that, and it depends on the niche and what type of videos you make, but I feel like mostly for short form content, it's like that, and on TikTok and Instagram. I mean, YouTube, you can still get the same thing, because we've had a lot of YouTubers do that. So it's not exclusive just to TikTok and Instagram, but I just feel like I see it more with the short form content, because it is easier to make and pump out. It's still a lot, it's still time consuming, but to be fair, most of these people's content is not really that time consuming. They just gotta learn a dance or lip sync a couple of words and they're good. Then Mel said that it's the past of content creation. They need to stop making new ones. And girl, that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna let you know right now, that ain't gonna happen. By the time I post this video, we're probably gonna have 5 new content creator houses on TikTok. But anyways, thank you guys so much for participating in these polls. It always helps me make the video more interesting, and I just love talking to y'all. So please feel free to check me out on Instagram. It's NK's World with 2 D's, because I'm not gonna finish my joke because I feel like I've said it enough, but just check me out on Instagram. Period. But let's keep going with this video. So the Bop House functions both as a living arrangement and a digital marketing strategy. You know, by sharing a home, the ladies are able to collaborate more efficiently, produce more content frequently, and tap into each other's audiences for faster growth. This kind of visibility and virality is crucial in the digital economy, especially for creators who do work in the adult entertainment industry. I mean, even if you don't, it's still crucial just because you gotta be visible. Like, you have to compete with so many people. You have to get people's attention, so you got to keep posting so people don't forget about you. And it's annoying because it can easily lead to burnout. I can't tell you how many times I almost felt burnt out on this channel. Maybe only 2 times, but still, like, you know, it's annoying because like if I go like a while without posting, it literally stresses me out. I'm like, damn, everyone's gonna forget about me. Oh my gosh, da 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 da. Like I just be overthinking, and I need to stop and chill. But anyways, particularly with people in the adult entertainment industry, you can't just outright promote your stuff on these social media platforms because YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you can't just post nudes. You can't do that basically. You can't. The content you post has to fit the guidelines set out by these social media platforms. However, with Instagram, I will say that they are questionable because I can't tell you how many times I've seen creators on that platform post pictures and videos that seem to go against their guidelines. You know what I'm saying? They say no nudity or you can't pose seductively or whatever. And I be seeing people do that and their accounts are thriving. They're doing well. They have over 1 million followers. But I remember one of my friends, she was having this issue with Instagram. I think it was last year or 2 years ago, where she was posting bikini photos of herself. Well, I think she actually just posted 1 or 2. Like she went on vacation and she posted some, and she thick, like, you know, she got a booty. And Instagram was giving her a hard time for that because they're saying that her content was inappropriate. Which I'm like, okay, if you guys are gonna do that to everyone. Like, don't just pick and choose. Like, it was definitely a side-eye moment because Instagram be doing some shady stuff. So even though these platforms do have guidelines in place, they don't always apply it. And I feel like they pick and choose when they want to apply it. So y'all need to be more consistent up in here. Period. So since these ladies cannot post their OF content outright on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, of course, they use TikTok as a way to promote it by making PG-friendly videos and just working with each other to get a bigger audience and just to grow, because the more the merrier. Anyways, the term bop in the Bop House stands for a baddie on point, which is a phrase that the founders and the members have attempted to reclaim. The term bop has recently gained popularity on social media and in schools, but it does carry harmful implications, particularly for young women. So the phrase became popular among younger people back in like 2021 or 2022. It was when the song called La La Bop was dropped and it became viral, well, semi-viral on TikTok. So the term bop is meant to shame individuals, particularly young women and young girls who are labeled as promiscuous for having multiple sexual partners. The term is often used in videos that accuse someone of sleeping around or engaging in other sexual activities, sometimes without any factual basis, spreading misinformation or just rumors. So by using this term as the foundation of their branding, the ladies of the Bop House are both acknowledging and confronting the criticism that they face. They have also gotten a lot of hate for using the term bop to represent themselves, but honestly, these ladies don't give a damn about the hate. You know why? Because they are raking in that money. In fact, I want you to guess how much money you think these ladies made as a collective during their first month as a content creator group. I'll wait. Have you guessed yet? They made $10 million. $10 million. As a collective, they made $10 million. Just making sure you know that. 10 million. 10. They made that much money their first month together as a content creator house. I saw a video with Camilla on TikTok, who is one of the members of the Bop House, and she said that she was making about 1.5 million a month. Then Julia, who is the blonde, she was making 700K to 800K a month. I think she was close to 800K a month. And then Sophie Rain, who is the most popular out of everyone in the group, she was making $3 to $4 million a month. It's crazy. Like, what is life? Like, it's just so interesting how there's so many ways to get paid. Shout out to Ice Spice, but it's just It's odd. I'll just say it's odd. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not surprised because I already made a video about OF and how much money these ladies are making. So I've already seen it all. Maybe I need to go create my OnlyFans right now. I'm joking, it's a joke. What I will say is that there is clearly a demand for their services. No one can tell me ish. There's a demand for it. They may get hate, people may call them all sorts of names, but there's clearly a demand for it. There's an audience for it. People are paying for this content. They're paying to see. So why would the ladies stop when they're getting this much money? And on top of that, they would not have the ability to rent out a $75,000 a month mansion. Their mansion apparently costs $75,000 to rent out just in 1 month. But that's like chum change if they're making like $10 million per month. I did the math and that's like $900K a year just for rent. Now I understand why y'all be on OF. Like, y'all looking for an extra member? I'm joking, chill, like chill. My parents, I'm joking. Clearly I'm not gonna do that. Well, I'm joking. Well, it looks like they won't even need me as an 8th member because Piper may be their next one. Well, let's keep going with this video. Part 2, Piper Rockelle and the controversy with the Bop House. So Piper is one of those influencers who have been on the internet since forever. She started off doing like pageants, you know, like little cute stuff. You know those like pageants, like Little Miss Tiara, is that what it's called? You know that show on TLC? I think it's probably like canceled now. Little Tiaras. Y'all know what I'm talking about, period. So she was basically just doing all those cute kid stuff like the pageants, the modeling, things like that. But it wasn't until she started posting on YouTube where she became who she is today. She blew up on YouTube by posting prank content, challenges, and making cute couple content with whoever she was dating at the time. She started making videos when she was just 8 years old, not even the double digits, with the help of her mom and her mom's boyfriend. Her mom is Tiffany Smith, by the way. From prank wars to fake crushes to full-blown stage drama with her friend group known as The Squad, Piper's content raked in billions of views, and she was raking in that money. Like, they were probably showering with money because Piper was making a lot of money around this time. It was reported that she was making around $300K to $500K per month during the prime of her squad group on YouTube. Imagine making that much money when you are so young and you don't have proper guidance. I honestly cannot imagine that. So now if we fast forward to today, Piper has over 12 million subscribers on YouTube now. She has 6 million followers on Instagram, a few pop songs and appearances in some kids web show like Manny and Chicken Girls under her belt. So she is doing pretty well and she is established as a content creator even though she is only 17 years old right now. Her most viewed YouTube video is a song called Baby I, which she posted 4 years ago and it has over 49 million views. But here is where it gets weird and a little bit concerning because the title of the video is Baby I by Piper Rockelle, cool, but then it says first kiss on camera. My question was, why is that even in the title of the music video and is it really necessary? Keep in mind that it's her mom who's helping her manage her YouTube. Like her mom is kind of like Kris Jenner, like a momager, that's what they call them. So she's the one like helping her daughter create this content and I'm sure she has a lot of say in the titles of the videos. Piper would have been around 13 or 14 years old around this time. And you guys are putting first kiss caught on camera. Y'all know who y'all were trying to attract. Like, sure, we can say they were probably trying to attract people who are Piper's age, so children, because they find like, oh my God, first kiss is such a huge deal. Like, at least when I was younger, I thought it was a big deal. So we can say, yeah, that they are trying to appeal to children, but you know who they're also appealing to? Weirdos. I just feel like there's a deeper and darker reason why they put that in the title, not just to attract children and teenagers, which I'm sure it did because if I had saw that when I was younger, I would have been like, oh my God, first kiss, like I want to see that because you're just young and the media hypes up your first kiss like something amazing and romantical and magical like High School Musical. That's just my opinion on that. Let me know what you think. Am I reaching or is it a little bit off-putting? You may not agree with my take on the whole title thing, but one thing that people seem to agree on is the fact that they don't like Piper's mom. A lot of people don't like Tiffany Smith because back in 2022, a bunch of former members of Piper's old content group, which is The Squad, which I mentioned earlier, They sued Piper's mom, Tiffany, alleging some really dark stuff like abuse, exploitation, and general chaos behind the scenes. That lawsuit was quietly settled for $1.85 million in 2024, just last year, which definitely says a lot. Tiffany denied everything and she blamed the whole situation on money-hungry ex-friends. Piper, who is still a minor, just said that the whole thing was very painful and confusing for her, which I'm sure it was. A lot of people mentioned how they thought it was disgusting that Tiffany positioned herself as a caregiver to all these children while using them for content. As Tiffany did claim that the videos were just for fun and they were supposed to be non-professional type thing. But in reality, these children, they were overworked, underpaid, if they were even paid at all, and they went through so much chaos behind the scenes. And that is why I don't like these family channels, these child influencers. I just don't trust this industry. It's just weird. And let's not even get into Tiffany's counter lawsuit, where she was claiming that the parents of the former members were just trying to extort her by making up false abuse allegations. But thankfully, she dropped that suit. The fact that she dropped it says a lot about this whole situation and how shady it was. But the whole thing just brings up a larger issue, which is the unregulated world of child influencers. I don't even know why child influencers exist, because really, who are you influencing? Sure, we can say other children, but it's just so unregulated that there needs to be more laws and protection put in place to protect these children. These kids were under immense pressure just to perform for Piper's channel. They had to fake crushes, fake pranks, do challenges, and create over-the-top drama just for the sake of views. And they are definitely not the only ones. We have seen this type of exploitation on every single social media platform, but I will say we have definitely seen it on YouTube a lot. And something that I want to mention too, and I'm actually looking forward to watching, is that Netflix is dropping a documentary on Piper and the members of her former group. It's going to be a 3-part series diving into what happened behind the scenes and just all the drama, all the chaos, and all the allegations. So I'm really interested to see what exactly happened, because I have my ideas of what happened behind the scenes, but it's probably even worse than that, just knowing how people act when money and fame is involved. This Netflix documentary is not just about Piper, it's about the bigger issue, the bigger picture, when childhood becomes content and when these parents turn their kids into paycheck generators. And I'm sure we're going to see more in the future, which is upsetting, but it is good that everything is coming to light. But back to the Bop House. So when the house launched in December 2024, you should remember that because you're paying attention, yes. So when the house launched, fans wanted Piper to join for some odd reason. Even if she wasn't a minor, it still would be weird to make that suggestion, but it's definitely worse considering she is 17 years old. But it is just a weird suggestion, and I personally would be offended if people told me to create an OnlyFans. I'll be like, what the hell? Like, what? And especially if I wasn't even 18 years old, I would be concerned. But the members of the Bop House quickly shut down that idea, with Sophie Rain and other members responding in a video where they joked about the legal issues that would arise if they added Piper to their group. They even took it a step further by posting a skit about getting arrested for hiring her. And then Piper responded with a playful video saying, "Don't worry girls, I will bail you out," keeping the mood light despite the backlash that everyone was facing. Because this is a really weird suggestion, they shouldn't even be entertaining it, because Piper is a minor, she's 17, she's not allowed on the platform until she turns 18. But even before the idea of Piper joining the Bop House was a thing, she has been criticized for being provocative as a teenager, with many people pointing their finger at her mom, Tiffany, because they're like, hello ma'am, like, this is your child, what's going on? But I'm sure we're gonna learn more about this during the Netflix documentary. That's why I'm really excited to watch it. But when it comes to people saying that Piper is provocative for a teenager, I will say that she does remind me of Danielle Cohen. I feel like they had a very similar upbringing when it comes to fame, social media, how they present themselves online, and also how their mothers played a huge role in their success and how they are presented online. Danielle is also an influencer, model, singer, you know, all those stuff. Like, she's like a social media personality. She's that. So very similar to Piper. And there's a whole debacle about her age at one point, because in 2019, Danielle's father claimed that she was 13, which didn't make sense because Danielle said that she was 15 at the time. Honestly, the whole thing was confusing, and to this day, I'm not really sure how old she is. She's either 19 or 20, but her age has been a huge issue because people have criticized her for being too provocative, for doing too much, and they have also blamed her mother for pushing her daughter to do this, to present herself this way online. So to me, it feels like a very similar situation with Piper's mom and Danielle's mom. All I know is that Danielle definitely, she was doing some stuff that is not appropriate for a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, or a 15-year-old to do. And her mother knew that. That's why they try to keep Danielle's age a secret. You just see a pattern of mothers or just parents in general pushing their children to do stuff just for the sake of the bag. Because I know Danielle was probably bringing in millions a year, definitely. So it's just unfortunate that things like this happen, but I do understand why they happen because they see the money, they see the dollar signs, and that's all they care about. But despite all of the controversies that Danielle went through, she still has millions of followers, people are supporting her, and she seems to be doing well, which is good for her. But the whole situation just makes you side-eye the mom, because it's like, what's going on? Or just side-eye the parents in general, because literally, like, it's giving y'all are pimping out your kids. That's what it's giving. But let's go back to the Bop House controversy because that's a whole video in itself, and that's a video for another day. So starting in February, Piper began posting videos with the Bop House members, and some of them seem to be filmed at the house itself. The videos are just the usual TikTok vibe, dancing, lip syncing to songs, smiling at the camera, then laughing at the end. It's giving 2019 Addison Rae. Even though at first glance these videos do look harmless, it did cause a lot of controversy and people were mad because Piper is underage, and obviously the content that these ladies do at the Bop House, it's explicit. Minors should not be there, minors should not be associated with it, so people didn't like that Piper was in that environment. Aisha, who was one of the Bop House founders, made a video on TikTok saying that Piper is not a part of the Bop House and that they ran into her at the mall. Her and Sophie ran into Piper at the mall, so they saw each other, so they decided to go back to Sophie's house to create TikTok videos.
Is she officially in the Bop House? So no, Piper is not a part of the Bop House. All we did was make TikToks, nothing crazy. We ran into her at the mall, and then she came over to Sophie's and we just made some videos, and she was super, super sweet.
I just have one question. Do you really think we're gonna believe that? Do you actually think we're going to believe that? That you guys were at the mall and you just happened to run into Piper, you decided to invite her back to your house and then create these videos. I hate people who think we're dumb. We're not dumb. Maybe some of y'all are dumb, but I'm not dumb. And it's the fact that after the idea of Piper joining the Bop House was a thing, that's when they decided to accidentally run into her at the mall, make the videos and post it, and then say, Piper's not at the Bop House, she's at Sophie's house. Oh my gosh. Y'all know what y'all doing. This was not random, this was planned. You guys planned to make these videos with Piper, so don't try to tell us anything else. We know the facts, we know the tea. Y'all are clout chasers and y'all are lying. They have so many TikToks with Piper, but the most concerning one is with Aisha and Sophie, and they are dancing with Piper, and the text on the screen says, welcoming Piper to our house. Pause. They know exactly how that looks. It looks like Piper is joining the Bop House. Even though they didn't say welcome Piper to the Bop House, the text makes it sound like Piper is joining the Bop House, and they know how it looks. But when people call them out for it, they're gonna be like, oh no, like we were just telling her welcome to our house, not actually the Bop House. Like they're just gonna find loopholes to defend themselves, even though they know exactly what they're doing. It's annoying when they do this and it's frustrating as well. But in the end of the day, it plays into their brand of looking young, and just acting clueless as well. Because y'all know what y'all are doing, but y'all love to act clueless. But Piper's response to the criticism she received after visiting the Bop House is pretty telling. She clearly is not letting the backlash get to her, because on February 24th, she posted a video of herself with the Bop House members where she wrote on the screen, how many times are they gonna cry about me being at the Bop House? So people had a lot to say about this, so let's dive into their reactions. So one user said, this is embarrassing, and this had 20,000 likes. But to be honest, it's more than embarrassing. But anyways, someone else said, Maybe it's because you're a minor with a bunch of question marks. And this one got over 70,000 likes. And it's gaining a lot of traction because it's pointing out the obvious, Piper's age. It's not even about the TikTok dances anymore. It's about why people are uncomfortable with Piper being at the Bop House and them playing into it and them posting content that makes it seem like Piper is part of the house. It's one thing to be on TikTok making silly videos, but being involved with a house like the Bop House where the content leads towards adult themes and the whole point of it is to promote their OnlyFans accounts, it's just weird, and that's why people are uncomfortable with it. Then I just want to read one more comment. This one says, "This is so insane. I don't get how anyone actually likes Piper. Her whole platform is targeted towards adult men, and she's talked about wanting to join the Bop House since they were made. Yet she's literally a child. She's 17 and not even an adult yet. It's weird to think about, isn't it?" And I thought this comment was interesting because they said that Piper's content is targeted towards adult men. So I just looked through her profile, I looked through her TikTok and her Instagram, and if you go on her TikTok, her profile photo is obviously not something that you would, I guess, want a teenager to make their profile photo, but it is there. And also when you look at her page, like at first glance, it looks like it's just meant for teenagers, people her age, you know, but I can also see why older men and weirdos would be attracted to her page. But I do want to make it clear that you can literally post the most innocent photos. You could be covered up from head to toe, and weirdos are still going to find a way to make it weird, like period. But given Piper's mom's track record and just the drama and the history and all that, I wouldn't be surprised if Piper has been instructed to act this way to get views, to get followers, and to get money. I could be wrong, but just given the history, I have to do a side eye. I just have to. This is a side note, but when I was on Piper's page, I saw this comment on Instagram and it said, "I don't care what people say about Piper. She's so sweet and gorgeous." And I clicked on the page, and tell me why it was AI. Something about the profile photo just told me to click on the page. Clicked on it and it was literally, it's an AI. It's an AI girl. And what's even crazier on top of that is the fact that this AI account has like almost 900 followers. A lot of them are men, and men are literally in the comments hyping her up. They think she's real. They think she's actually a real person. I was low-key dying when I was reading the comments. At first I felt bad, but I'm like, y'all, these men were like in their 60s, 70s, damn near 80s, commenting stuff like, "Oh, where do you live, sweetie?" Or "You look amazing," or "I would love to meet you," like things like that. And mind you, this AI account, the bio says 19, single, and Florida. Y'all are 60, 70, 80, and y'all are seeing a 19-year-old because she's not even real, but y'all are seeing that and y'all, that's what you want. Like, I know older people, like they can't really tell AI, because y'all remember the Brad Pitt scam, how like these scammers literally scammed this lady out of, I think, over 800 euros. So it is a thing. Like, I understand that older people, they're not really familiar with AI, so they don't know. Y'all need to teach your grandparents what AI is, teach them how to decipher it, because things like this happen. And it's just crazy because I know that Instagram account is collecting money from these men. I know it. Bet you like they're in her DMs, she's talking to them, she's getting money from them. Like, I promise you that is happening. And when I was stalking the AI page as well, it got me thinking about AI video, because the page only posted photos, no videos. But when AI videos become so good and so realistic, it's gonna be so hard to decipher what's real and what's fake. And I also wonder if people will do that at OnlyFans, if people will make AI videos of a random person and post it on OnlyFans and make content that way. I'm sure if that was a problem though, OF, the platform, they would probably put in some guidelines to stop that. But that's something I was just wondering, because that would be crazy if people can just create AI videos of explicit content and post it on OF and make money. Like, that would be insane. But overall, y'all just tell your grandparents what AI is, help them, because I know these older folks are getting scammed from these AI stuff. But overall, the comments that I read earlier reflect a lot of discomfort and confusion. Piper's not exactly addressing the core issue, her age, with a head-on response, which only makes the situation feel even more off. It feels like she's more concerned with making the content and dismissing the backlash than actually understanding why people are concerned in the first place. And when you think about the history surrounding her mom and the Piper Squad lawsuit, this whole thing just adds more layers to the problem. Piper really needs to take a moment to reflect on the kind of content she's putting out and the audience that she's attracting, because there's definitely a fine line that a lot of people feel that she's crossing. A lot of people have side-eyed her mom, a lot of people have side-eyed the Bop House members, and they definitely should be side-eyed too, because I know y'all are trying to do branding, but what's going on? I'm mostly side-eyeing her mom though because of her mom's shady past, but still, the young woman from the Bop House, y'all are promoting this too. Y'all may act dumb and act like, oh, we don't know what's going on, but y'all do. Isn't that what they call weaponized incompetence? Like, girl, y'all know what y'all doing. So because of this situation, I wanted to ask y'all another question on Instagram, and here's what I said. Do influencers have a responsibility to ensure they're setting a good example for younger audiences? So 12% of you guys said yes, they should be role models, which I get, but it definitely depends on the context. Like, if you are an influencer purposely trying to target a specific demographic, let's say they're younger, they're teens, then you do have a responsibility to act a certain way. But if you're not intentionally trying to target children or teens or an impressionable group of people, then it's not your job to be a good role model for them. Like, let's say if 10-year-olds started twerking because of Megan Thee Stallion, they're not her target demographic. Megan is not trying to attract 10-year-olds to her shows or to watch her music videos. I mean, they probably do, but like, she's not actually attracting them. And then 14% said no, that they're just entertainers, which is fair. Not everyone is trying to be a role model, and especially when they grow up, I'm sure they're tired of being a role model for like 10-year-olds. But the majority of y'all, which was 47%, y'all said that it's on the parents, which makes sense too. And I feel like this is probably the biggest thing. Like, you guys have to monitor your kid's phone. Y'all need to like put in the effort and be involved in your children's lives, or else they can easily find content online that is not suited for children their age. Then 28% said it's just a mix of everything, which I can see as well. It's a lot of factors to consider, but I would mostly say that parents, y'all need to just be involved in your kids' life as much as possible and to monitor what they're watching, because it is very easy to find explicit content out there, and it's only gonna get easier as time goes by. But thank you so much to everyone who participated in my poll. Make sure you check me out on Instagram. It's NK's World with 2 Ds, so you can be part of future poll discussions and we can kiki it up over there, because it's just easier to reply to y'all over there. But I want to say that I asked this question on Instagram just because I know that the Bop House is meant to promote their OF content, and they're trying to find adult men to subscribe and watch their content. However, the way they market it, it's on TikTok, which is an app that has a lot of teens, a lot of kids, which every app is going to have a lot of kids. That's just how it is, especially when it's something like TikTok that is a very visual app. And the Bop House's page is PG friendly. Like, it looks very innocent. They're just laughing, doing whatever. So it looks very normal, very cute, very fun. Just chill stuff. So it's easy to attract teenagers and kids. And parents probably at first glance wouldn't even know what type of content that these ladies are promoting. I mean, of course, kids are gonna watch content that they're not supposed to watch, but when it comes to the Bop House, it does look very innocent. It doesn't look like anything crazy is happening, because they can't post anything crazy because they're gonna get their TikTok banned. So it's just like, okay, like, y'all promote your stuff because y'all need to get to the bag, but at the same time, like, is TikTok really the platform to promote yourself? But also at the same time too, like, it's not only children who are on TikTok, and people shouldn't have to filter themselves in case kids may come across their content, because kids are always going to come across content. It's still just weird to me because of their whole marketing. Like, in my opinion, I feel like X, which is Twitter, is the perfect place for them to promote their content, but TikTok just feels wrong, especially how they go about promoting it. Like, it's one thing to post videos of yourself to promote your OF, which is cool, but they take it a step further by just making it seem like a sleepover, it's fun, every day is cool, we're making so much money. Like, it just feels like they're not only targeting clients to buy into their stuff, but also targeting younger women, younger girls who see this lifestyle and are like, wow, like this looks so glamorous, they have so much money, like let me join. But they're not bringing up the downside. They're not bringing up the risk that are associated with making an OF account. But I am getting ahead of myself, so let's get into the next section of this video where we're going to talk about why people don't like the Bop House, why they're criticizing them, and to be honest, they are bringing up very valid points. So let's keep going. Part 3. Why people criticize the Bop House. All right, so we've talked about what the Bop House is, the Piper Rockelle controversy, and why people see the Bop House as an influencer's dream. You're racking in the money, millions of dollars, you're getting millions of followers, and you're living in this beautiful big ass mansion. But as I've said before, this whole setup is still strange. Like, I understand the concept, but it is still just like, man, I don't know, it's just weird. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. A lot of people have called out the Bop House. They just don't like what it represents. They're not really with it. And there's just so much criticism that these ladies have faced. So let's just break it down. One of the biggest concerns that critics have with the Bop House is the online safety of younger audiences. The house operates mostly on TikTok and Instagram, and both of those platforms have a lot of children on it. But of course, every platform has children. Those platforms in particular are based on pictures and videos, so it's more of a visual platform. So of course, kids are gonna flock to those type of platforms. One thing I will say though is that I feel like the Bop House, their content is good for Twitter. People promote their OF on Twitter all the time. But I just feel like due to marketing, that's why the ladies chose TikTok. Because TikTok, you're gonna reach more people, period. And most kids aren't on Twitter, simply. And even though the Bop House, their content is not explicit on TikTok or Instagram, it often serves as a gateway to their more adult material on platforms like OF, which teenagers, kids, all of them can easily find. And with these creators who are mostly in their early 20s, posting on platforms with tons of underage followers, there's always the risk that they might influence younger people to aspire to become adult creators themselves, which I'm sure they probably have already influenced some people to want to become an adult entertainer. This issue has been discussed in podcasts like The Briefing, where guests debated on who's really responsible in these type of situations: the creators, the platforms that host them, or the parents of these younger viewers. One adult creator, Nova, she made an interesting point during the discussion, saying that creators should not bear the responsibility of making sure that kids can't find their content. Instead, she emphasized the importance of media literacy and parental guidance in today's digital age. So in other words, it's not just about what creators are putting out there. It's about how people, especially parents, educate young viewers about the content that they are engaging with. But I will say that parents can do everything to try to prevent it, but kids can go to school and still watch the content. So honestly, it's hard, but you just gotta try your best and put your best foot forward. Another thing too with the Bop House is that they tend to glamorize what they do. They love bringing up how much money they made, how they made 10 million in 1 month, how Sophie Rain made 43 million last year. Yeah, it was last year, just off of OF. They tend to glamorize the numbers and living in a mansion and just having fun and being cute. They glamorize that, but you'll never catch them talking about the downsides of the platform. Also, we need to understand that we are not Sophie Rain. We're not gonna hop on the platform and make 43 million in just 1 year. But they are low-key selling you that lifestyle. And I also wonder too, this is just a question, this could be totally wrong, I wonder if the Bop House gets paid any incentive to post on TikTok by OnlyFans. Let's say like the platform OF, they want to attract new creators. The Bop House is doing a really good job at marketing the platform as an easy, cheap, cool way to make money. So I do wonder if the platform OF is paying these ladies extra to make OF seem like an easy place to make money for young girls. And the way that OF is promoted as an easy platform to make money, I feel like the sugar baby, sugar daddy lifestyle is also seen that way as well. Because I cannot tell you how many times I was so tempted to have a sugar daddy because when I was in high school and university, I didn't have money. Me and my friends, we did not have money. We were out here working at Tim Hortons just trying to make money. So of course, when we would go online and we would see people flexing their lifestyles, flexing their sugar daddies, flexing how much money they sent them, we're like, damn, let's try it. But none of them talked about about how dangerous it can be, the power dynamics, your morals being compromised. Like, there's just so much things when it comes to the sugar daddy lifestyle, and I could never get into it. Me and my friends, we tried. We're like, oh, let's try this because we're so broke, but it's not a cute place. It's not, especially if you are younger. If you are older, cool, do what you gotta do, get your bag, cool, because it's a natural thing. I'm pretty sure people who are making TikToks about how to be a sugar baby, they would give you a link, and if you click that link, they get money. So they don't really care about the well-being of people doing the sugar baby stuff. They just care about recruiting people, so they're gonna lie and do whatever and make it seem like rainbows and sunshines when it's really not that. Just keep that in mind if you are thinking about it, and if you are thinking about it, just wait it out. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't like how the sugar baby content and also the OF content is constantly glamorized. Anyways, another big point of controversy surrounding the Bop House centers on Sophie Rain, the most popular member. She has made it known that she is a devout Christian who promotes the values of chastity and virginity. She wears a promise ring and has openly stated that she won't engage in sexual activity until marriage. However, at the same time, Sophie is making tens of millions of dollars through content on platforms like OF, which, while non-explicit in the traditional sense, still falls within the adult entertainment space. So this contradiction has led many people to side-eye Sophie and to really question her intentions. Some critics argue that she's using her whole religious image as a branding tactic, tapping into that stereotype of the pure, virgin woman to make her content more marketable. It's like she's trying to appeal to two completely different worlds, one of modesty and religious values and the other of adult entertainment. And the dynamic is very weird, but the thing is that it's working for her. And it's also working for her because she looks like a teenager. Even if Sophie herself isn't directly to blame for society's long-standing ideas about sex and purity, some people feel that by blending these two aspects of her identity, she's playing into these deeply ingrained ideas, which I can definitely see. And one of the most uncomfortable criticisms that the Bop House gets a lot is how they present themselves, especially in terms of their appearance and branding. And one of the members, Julia, has been at the center of all of this. So apparently Julia earned $54,000 in her first week on OF. $54,000. Some people make that in a year, but she made that in a week. And after Julia revealed that, Camilla, who is also a member of the Bop House, said that y'all are sick because she looks 12. And that clip went viral, gaining over like 19 million followers. I think the original clip has been deleted, but people have still reposted it.
How much have you made since starting in OF?
You want me to say it on here?
Yeah, if you want to say it. Or just show me, because I know you're logged in on your phone. $54,000? Y'all are sick because she looks 12. Y'all are weird.
But that clip alone sparked a lot of discussion. And one thing I will say though is that it is odd that Camilla is pointing that out when she is a willing participant in all of this. She's literally part of the Bop House, which is built on a similar formula. So it does raise questions. Maybe she really does understand how disturbing it is that people are so eager to see Julia, who, let's be honest, presents herself in a way that looks much younger than her actual age. But to be fair, she is young. I think she's like 20 or 19. So she's young, of course, but she does look younger than that. As we can see, the Bop House is incredibly lucrative, and it's not just some small side hustle. So while Camilla might express concern, it seems like she's also riding the wave of the profitability that comes with this kind of attention. Maybe she does know how wrong it feels, but when the money's flowing, does it really matter that much? Even though, yes, it's legal, everyone's legal, it's still weird. And we're allowed to say that it's weird. I've also seen a lot of people online compare the Playboy House mansion to the Bop House. And sure, it does look similar. You have young, attractive women living in a house together, having fun, creating adult content together, and building a brand for it. But the context is just very different. The Playboy Mansion was a lavish estate in Los Angeles that served as the personal residence of the Playboy magazine founder, Hugh Hefner and became a symbol of sexual liberation and male fantasy throughout the late 20th century. So basically, the mansion was known for its wild parties filled with celebrities and being the home of many Playboy bunnies. The Playboy bunnies were young women who often lived there under strict rules set by the founder himself. So the Playboy bunnies, they were expected to maintain a certain look, behavior, often with limited autonomy, and over time, that glamorous image of the mansion began to unravel. Former Playboy bunnies that used to live there and documentaries talked about the things that went on in that mansion, and they were bad. So back then, the mansion was all about Hugh Hefner. He was in control, he was the founder, he was the owner, so he controlled everything. But with the Bop House, it's completely different because they don't have a boss, like it's the ladies. They control themselves. They post what they want to post, they do what they want to do, and they don't have any man controlling how they make money and what type of stuff they have to post. But here's the catch with all of this. Just because they're making the money now doesn't mean the system has changed. The entire model is still built around the sexualization of young women. So can we really call it empowering if the structure is still the same? If you're still profiting off the same kind of objectification, just with different people in charge, how much progress is that? Honestly, the whole situation is weird, and I feel like it's only gonna get weirder. Right now, there's no official confirmation if Piper is gonna join the Bop House, but at the rate it's going, I don't know. I honestly don't know if she's gonna join, but if she were to join, I know it's gonna be huge. The controversy, the backlash is gonna be huge, but also the money is definitely gonna be huge. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if she made $1 million her first week or even her first day on the platform if she joined. But what makes us more uncomfortable is that the content that they have already created with Piper, it feels like a build-up, like a slow burn marketing tactic. They're feeding the audience with just enough to spark conversation and fantasy, planting the idea in people's head that Piper might be joining full-time. So when or if it actually happens, they already have an audience foaming at the mouth, ready to spend money to see Piper on the platform. And if there's one thing that the Bop House is good at, it's strategy, also marketing, also knowing how to go viral. They know exactly what to do, exactly what to say to go viral. And that's exactly what is happening. Even if what they are doing is questionable and really makes us side-eye them, it's still working. They're still making money, because if they were not making money, they would not be doing this. So clearly the money must be a lot. So at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to be stupid enough to do anything illegal, but will they do something unethical, immoral? Probably, but that just seems to be part of their business model. So yeah, that's the Bop House and the Piper Rockelle controversy. Let me know what you think about this topic. It's a lot, and honestly, I just don't even know what to say. There's clearly a demographic that is spending all their money on these ladies. I'm gonna just say that if you want to create an OF account, do you. Make sure it's your choice and you actually want to do it, but just understand the risks that come with it, and don't do weird stuff. Don't be like the Bop House is what I'm trying to say. You can check out similar videos around me that are about this topic, and I will see you next week or in 2 weeks. So thank you so much for watching, and bye.